Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 20th September 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Jamaica's Prime Minister seems to have challenges with tax irregularities. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Jamaica's main opposition, People's National Party, PNP, says Prime Minister Andrew Holness must resign over tax irregularities. More in this TVJ News item with Ocean Masters.
In a release this morning, the PNP says it's appalled by the revelations outlined in the Integrity Commission's investigative report into Prime Minister Andrew Holness's financial affairs. It says it's currently reviewing the full report with its legal team and officers to ensure that they fully understand the implications of the investigation. However, the PNP says based on its initial review, the Prime Minister has deliberately misled the country and Parliament. The release further pointed out that the recommendation that various opaque and questionable financial transactions involving Mr. Holness and his private companies be referred to the Financial Investigations Division, FID, for further investigation suggests that the matter is far from over. It also raised questions of the serious tax irregularities on the part of Mr. Holness's companies and recommends that these issues be referred to the Commissioner General of Tax Administration, Jamaica. Now, this, the PNP says, further compounds the untenable situation that faces the Prime Minister. The PNP says that Jamaica now finds itself in an unprecedented situation where its head of government is embroiled in a prolonged and unresolved integrity investigation. It says this battle being waged from the highest office in the land is undermining the country's democratic system and eroding public confidence in the government. Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The Area 1 Police says it has made significant progress in recent...
We are coming for you. The stern warning from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to the suspects involved in the robbery of Member of Parliament for St. Joseph, Terence Dialsing. TTT News has more.
The TTPS confirmed that MP Dialsing, who is also the Minister of Health, was robbed of a gold bracelet by two men, one armed with a gun, on Tuesday. MP Dialsing was sitting on a bench outside a bar along King Street, St. Joseph. The assailants escaped in a green-colored vehicle. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigation, Suzette Martin, says all criminal acts, particularly those involving firearms and violence, will not be tolerated in any form.
My best advice to you is to turn yourself in with your attorney, relative or friend, since rest assured we are coming after you.
DCP Martin says efforts are underway to apprehend the perpetrators of the crime in the shortest possible time. She says the safety and security of all citizens, including public officials, remain the utmost priority of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
I wish to reassure the public that a thorough investigation is already underway, and all efforts are being made to swiftly apprehend those responsible. Several persons are being interviewed and are assisting us in this investigation. We will ensure that all involved in this crime face the full brunt of the law.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so We as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Venezuela is grappling with escalating turmoil as the United Nations condemns several human rights abuses and systematic repression under the Nicolas Maduro regime. Time Now World News reports.
Venezuela faces severe humanitarian issues. The UN has condemned the worsening human rights situation, citing systematic repression by the Venezuelan government.
We are facing a systematic, coordinated, and deliberate repression by the Venezuelan government, which responds to a conscious plan to silence any form of dissent. As part of this plan, the government has instrumentalized the entire state apparatus, including especially the justice system, with a view to silencing any type of difference of opinion that opposes its scheme and to staying in power at any price.
The latest UN report, commissioned by the Human Rights Council, details extensive rights violations, describing the repression as reaching unprecedented levels.
Of the people detained in this period, many were subjected to torture and other cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment, as well as sexual violence, which was perpetrated against women and girls, but also against men. We reported electric shocks, beating with blunt objects, suffocation with plastic bags, immersion in cold water, and forced sleep deprivation, among others. And we also reported touching of breasts, buttocks and genitals, forced nudity, and invasive searches.
Tensions in Venezuela have escalated following the July presidential election, where Nicolas Maduro claimed victory for a third consecutive term. According to results declared by the government-controlled National Electoral Council, CNE. This result, deemed fraudulent by both opposition groups and independent observers, has sparked widespread protests and confrontations with security forces loyal to Maduro. The election has been widely condemned as undemocratic, with allegations of fraud. The US has been at the forefront of criticism against Maduro.
The arbitrary and politically motivated action demonstrates the extraordinary lengths to which Nicolas Maduro will go to try and maintain power following his attempt to steal the July 28th presidential election.
The ensuing unrest has led to hundreds of arrests as protesters express dissatisfaction with what they see as a continuation of authoritarian rule by Maduro, following in the footsteps of his predecessor, Hugo Chavez. For over 25 years, the PSUV party has consolidated power, dominating key institutions such as the CNE, the Supreme Court, and much of the judiciary, effectively eroding Venezuela's system of checks and balances. Maduro's presidency began in 2013, instead of 2011, coinciding with a global oil price collapse. The resulting economic crisis led to a 7-year recession, rampant inflation, and severe shortages of basic goods. Protests in 2014 and 2017 were met with harsh government crackdowns. Amid this turmoil, millions of Venezuelans fled, and Maduro's re-election in 2018 was widely criticized as neither free nor fair. In early 2019, the opposition, led by Juan Guaido, declared himself interim president, backed by the National Assembly and over 50 countries. However, the military remained loyal to Maduro. With support from China and Russia, he maintained control. The opposition's efforts faltered, and Guaido's interim government was dissolved in December 2022 due to ineffectiveness. For the July 2024 election, opposition parties rallied behind Maria Corina Machado, who was barred from holding office by a Maduro ally. Her endorsement of ex-diplomat Edmundo Gonzalez as the unity candidate garnered significant support. Opinion polls showed Gonzalez leading, but widespread concerns about election fraud led to a large deployment of opposition observers. Despite these efforts, the CNE declared Maduro the winner. Independent reviews of voting data suggest Gonzalez won by a large margin, but the CNE's result remains contested. The European Union, the United States, and several Latin American countries have rejected the election results, demanding the release of detailed polling data. The Colombian House of Representatives recently urged President Gustavo Petro to recognize Gonzalez as Venezuela's president-elect. In an unusual development, Eric Prince, founder of the private military contractor Blackwater, has sought to deploy a private army to Venezuela. He has appealed for donations to fund a paramilitary operation aimed at toppling Maduro. In the midst of this, the Venezuelan government recently detained 3 American citizens, 2 Spaniards, and a Czech national, accusing them of plotting to destabilize the country.
They, surprisingly, between quotation marks, were already prepared to bring out their story. Because they have a narrative to conspire, and when they fall, they have a narrative to victimize the murderers, the terrorists, to victimize the victimizers. Now it turns out that they were good guys, tourists who were taking a walk and were captured by the Venezuelan dictatorship and disappeared.
Alongside these detentions, hundreds of weapons have been seized, and over 2,400 people, including many teenagers, have been arrested in the ongoing unrest. Meanwhile, Venezuela's opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, addressed the exile of former opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez during a virtual briefing, saying the opposition considers him the elected president of Venezuela. These were the first on-camera comments from Machado after Gonzalez arrived in Spain on Sunday.
It is not coherent to say that it is a criminal regime that has taken off all its masks, that has no scruples or limits, clinging to power, and then expecting the Venezuelan society to act as if it was not. We have to act with intelligence, resilience, audacity, and prudence to take care of our own, starting with the president-elect.
Gonzalez fled there into exile as part of a negotiated deal with Nicolas Maduro's government that dealt a major blow to millions who placed their hopes in his opposition campaign.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.